Right then, Spurs. We've had 9 days between Leicester and Spurs. Amorim has got the valuable time on the training ground that he has been wanting since he's become United head coach. The big question is this: will we see a difference in the quality of performance and intensity from United? That's what I'm going to be looking out for when we watch the game on Sunday. Let's run through all the team news and I'll give you both my predicted 11 and match prediction for the game on Sunday. So, Spurs on Sunday. After 9 days between Leicester and Spurs, United are back in action. How will the performance be? We've been getting results, won 6 out of the last 8. Performances have been largely crap. Will there be a difference? Will that rest, will that time on the training ground make a difference? Something that Amorim keeps saying. I'm going to run through my starting 11, the predictions, and my match prediction as well for this game. You can let me know what you think in the comments below. One thing I don't want to see in this game, and one thing I may well see in this game, is another game of chaos. I expected it in the League Cup, and it was there. 3-0 down, 3-2. Concede straight from a corner, 4-2, then get 4-3 lost. It was madness. It was really, really poor from United. Good to come back, and then we just concede straight from a corner. I don't think Ruben Amorim will be wanting that same level of chaos. Spurs, somehow, because this confuses the hell out of me, they're having a worse season than United. Being hit with injuries. Hurts when that happens, doesn't it? I think Vicario might be back for this one, maybe Udogie as well. But there's going to be anti-Daniel Levy protests at this game. The sentiment among Spurs fans, they're sort of bubbling under the surface. Now, I'm actually glad that United aren't playing at home because we've been awful playing at home. This is the starting 11 that played against Leicester in the Cup. And that game against Leicester in the Cup, you can remember it. United were not good for the majority of the game. We came back into it and it was a last-minute offside. Oh, I'd be pissed if that was against us. Winner from Maguire. Kind of pulled us out of the hole that we were in that game. The 2 best performances this season so far under Ruben Amorim have come against Liverpool and Arsenal away. And both of those games happened after a week where we didn't have a midweek game. So I'm hoping that the same thing happens here. And we need to see the performances. We do. Right? Even for Ruben Amorim himself. That's where the progress is going to truly be measured with this United team. Now, in terms of changes to the defence, right, I'll run through each area of the pitch, just like I always do. Maguire will be starting this game. It's kind of simple, really. Not just because he scored that goal against Leicester, but if I'm choosing Maguire or De Ligt to be my central centre-back, I'm going for Maguire right now. Is what it is. In terms of the 2 wide centre-backs, what do you think? You could, in theory, you could bring De Ligt in for Yoro on the right-hand side or Mazraoui on the left-hand side. I think probably what I would do is switch those 2. I think that's a change I'd make. And, of course, a change I'd make defensively. And Amorim starting Dorgu as right wing-back confused me. He explained it after, and I was still left a bit confused. Because not only do you take away from Dorgu's best abilities down that left-hand side, the overlaps using the width, you're also you're just making it more difficult for Delo. He's not a particularly great player. Playing on the left-hand side, and it was awful against Leicester. And I think the same thing would happen. So I'm just going to try and basically manifest this by putting Dorgu on that left-hand side and putting Delo on that right-hand side. Because the big issue for United, right, is, of course, playing out from the back. We're playing at 2 miles an hour. And if you do that against Spurs, you know they're going to press with intensity. You know they're going to give you no time on the ball, so we can't do that. And the way to play out from the back is one of a few ways. I don't need to say it. You pass it around, you go and you use your width and you use your wing-backs, or you play through the middle, or you play it long. The United have been crap at all 3 because teams have been able to put a box around Bruno and Ugarte, right? So if you've got 4 players who are in that position, then you just close that option. So United have to go wide with the ball. And then you had Dorgu and Delo who are receiving the ball with the wrong angle or then passing it backwards. Receive the ball there and they can feint, let it go past them and drive down the line. That's what we need. We need some width in this game. Because Spurs are going to be all over us. You know full well that they're going to press with intensity. But please, Amorim, play Dorgu on the left. The reason why we signed him, we're going to hopefully sign Kenda in the summer, so he's going to play on the right. And don't play Delo on the left. It hurts us so much. Someone who I think is going to have a cracking game is Ugarte and Bruno, who I'm going to keep as the 2 central midfielders. I think Bruno in particular in this game I'm going to be interested to watch. This is a game which screams of a million miles an hour. And in those environments and those situations, Bruno previously has played the ball a little bit too quickly. But in this game, Is it going to be those quick balls that work? And in this game, do you actually want to see United play out from the back with the ball? Or do you want to see United try and beat the first press and probably get the balls into these areas? That's where I would imagine these areas here, right? And it kind of annoys me that we're not doing more of this. Those areas there strike me as the best place for Onana to be kicking into. Now, you might be saying, well, Sam, if you're going to kick it towards Ahmad or Mainu, they're not going to win anything, which is kind of fair enough. But going central to Haaland just has not been working. And at least in these environments, you can probably win a second ball. And that's where United, I think, should be looking to play against Spurs a little bit. So it may well be that we don't play through the middle too much, and that might actually be the best thing. And then Bruno, I kind of chop and change between this. Would you rather sign like an out-and-out great inside forward and then Bruno play deeper, or the other way around, the great central midfielder and Bruno play further forward? I think I'd rather have a great central midfielder and Bruno being one of the two inside forwards. But in the meantime, you work with what you've got. And it seems like Bruno playing deeper is going to be a pattern that we see for the rest of this season. Now, Garnacho, in terms of how Mainu played against Leicester, he wasn't in the game much, but with Dalot at left wing back, the ball was never going through that side of the pitch. And he was invisible as a consequence. In this, it depends whether or not you think that Garnacho is going to have more of an impact on the game from the start or from the end. I think I'm going to keep Garnacho as an impact sub. I think I'm probably going to keep Mainu and Ahmad there. I'm going to switch Haaland. Switch Haaland for Zirkzee because it may well be one of the important things because of how Spurs are going to press in this game. It may well be one of the important things that United actually have somebody out there who can receive the ball, hold it up. It's killing United not having a centre forward right now who just has the ability to just piss off, hold the ball, pass to a teammate. And it doesn't just come straight back at us. It's hurting us. And Zirkzee, well, scored. It's not just because he scored against Leicester, but he's better at doing that than Haaland. So I think that's the team that I would go for. I would switch Dorgu and Dalot in terms of the wings. In fact, that's the same 11, isn't it? Yeah, that is the same 11. I'll just switch the positions of Dalot and Dorgu and Yoro and Mazraoui. Actually, no, there's one change. Zirkzee up front. Who knows what to expect from this team, man? Come on, that's what we all have grown to realise. Predictions are almost impossible. Speaking of which, I'm going to go for a 2-1 United. But this is a game where I'd love to see a response. It's not a response. I'd love to see a consequence of 9 days worth of training. Well, it won't be 9 days, but you know what I mean. 9 days between the games. Less fatigue. More time on the training ground. More time to understand what you're doing and where your positions are. And ideally, Dorgu playing a left wing back. I'm going to go for a 2-1. That's my prediction. You can let me know what you think in the comments. But will there be... What I would love to see is the same sort of team level of performance that we saw against Liverpool and Arsenal away. But instead of sitting in a deep back five, we play a little bit more confidently. A little bit faster than 2 miles an hour. And ideally, winning the game of football. Let me know what you think in the comments.